I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Parker Dumont and Wesley Benjunas from Sunday Morning, a pop-punk band out of Connecticut. In this episode, we talk about what got the two of them into music and what got them playing in a band together. We talk about some of their EPs, a few of their songs, and I get to play two of them on this episode. In their day jobs, both of them are doing some really cool things in an area that is much needed in this day and age, so kudos to you, gentlemen. Keep up the good work. This was recorded during all the self-distancing due to the coronavirus outbreak, so if that is over by now, woohoo. If not, damn it. But either way, this is my conversation with Wesley Benjunas and Parker Dumont from the Connecticut band Sunday Morning. Yeah, talk to me, yeah. Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Wes and Parker. How you guys doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
Fantastic. So the way Zoom works is it's going to shut off everybody's microphone except for the person who's talking. So let's try and not talk over each other. I will do my best. I usually talk over everybody for the whole show. So good luck to me. You guys are in a band out of Connecticut called Sunday Morning. Now, I have heard some of your stuff that is available on YouTube if you search Sunday Morning, CT, as in Connecticut, and I dig it. A lot of your stuff reminds me of sort of, I don't know, pop punk, kind of like, well, a lot of it is, I don't know if this is going to be offensive or not, but a lot of it is reminiscent to me of Sum 41, which I really dig. But we're going to get to all that later. First, Wes, why don't you tell me where you were born and raised, man? Where'd you grow up?
Cool. So my name's Wes, and I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I moved out here to Connecticut when I was young. I want to say around like second grade or something.
Why?
My dad got a job. He worked for a helicopter company in Phoenix, and then he got a job in Pratt & Whitney in Connecticut. But we had family here before, and he lived here before. So, the move to Arizona was kind of just like, I guess it was purely based on jobs. And then we moved back here.
What does your mom do?
She was a coach. She coached like softball, basketball, and volleyball throughout my whole childhood. She was a high school coach.
You said was.
Yeah. She doesn't do it anymore.
She's still alive, though. She just doesn't teach anymore.
Oh, yeah. She's still alive. She just doesn't.
Cool. Okay. All right. Parker, your turn, man. Where are you born and raised? Where are you from?
So I'm from Durham, Connecticut. Honestly, I've been here my whole life.
From where, Connecticut?
Durham.
Okay.
Our original lineup, everybody was from Durham as well.
When you say our original lineup, do you mean Sunday Morning, the band?
Yes.
Okay.
Sunday Morning's original lineup, everybody was from Durham as well. I grew up here, and I actually grew up with my grandparents rather than my parents because my family had a lot of addiction problems and things like that. So early age, I ended up getting into music and looked at it kind of as an outlet and therapy, and going to shows kind of became like a safe place for me to go to. And that's how I started getting into music and getting into the scene and ended up performing.
So first of all, that's a little brave to just right at the beginning, just drop that your family has some addiction issues. Is Connecticut known for that? Like, is there a lot of addiction problems in Connecticut?
I would say yes. I don't know what the statistics are, to be honest, but I mean, I was part of Mothers Against Drunk Driving's Power Camp when I was a teenager, which we were helping local groups that were basically trying to find like alternative things other than like going to parties and drinking as a teenager, like finding safe things to do. I was part of Mothers Against Drunk Driving's Power Camp doing that. I was part of the local chapter in my high school that was doing that. I also was on the board of directors for Durham Millfield Youth and Family Services. So I would say, like, from what I've seen, there is a lot of addiction out here, but I don't know the statistics, to be honest.
Right. What is the addiction of choice? Is it weed? Is it alcohol? Is it meth? Is it coke? Well, nobody does coke anymore. It's the 2020s, man. Coke's not cool anymore.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, I think weed and drinking are, like, the two big things, especially in our specific area of Durham Middlefield where we grew up, like that was the local choice.
Now, Wes, you're shaking, you're nodding your head in agreement. Have you noticed a lot of everybody smoking the weed in Connecticut in your area?
Yeah, for sure. And just like Parker and I have known each other, since I first moved here, basically, because he was friends with my brother. When I was a kid in school, he used to come to like my classes and talk about all that shit. So
are y'all not the same age?
No. So I just turned 23.
You sure? Do you need some time to figure that out? You need to look at your driver's license and get a calculator? Are you all right?
I might have to.
So you're 23, and how old are you, Parker?
I'll be turning 28 in May.
Okay. Now, Parker, are you still friends with Wes's brother?
Oh, yeah. Him and I have been lifetime friends. His brother's name's Paul.
Here's the reason I ask. Wesley, I don't know what the Connecticut school system has taught you, but the word was is past tense. So when you were talking about your mom, you past tensed her like she wasn't around, and then you kind of made it seem like either your brother wasn't around or Parker and him had a falling out. So stop saying was.
I'll be more cognizant of that.
All right.
Nobody's dead yet.
Oh, well, that's good. Parker, you said earlier that one of your outlets and sort of a safe space was going to shows. You mean like concerts, right? Live music events?
Yeah.
That sounds super weird because I'm a parent. I'm old as dirt. And when I was young, my parents were like, I don't know about all this concert nonsense. That's where all the bad stuff happens. So I'm a little curious how in the heck you found live music safe spaces. That's where I got most of my weed, was at concerts. So how is that?
It's really weird because like dealing with my family and with the addiction problems and everything like that, I kind of knew that was always knocking at the door if I went down that road and like decided to entertain that. It ended up being like music was a thing. And then I found people who were like me, who were also straight edge.
Straight edge. I was about to say straight edge. All right, cool. That's still a thing. That was around when I was a youngster.
Yeah. And that was like the big thing. It's like I was hanging out with a lot of straight edge kids and like I still was a weirdo at the shows because I was so like. Again,
you're using the past tense. Does that mean you're not a weirdo anymore?
Oh, I'm definitely a weirdo. I just think that I'm more accepted at the shows now.
Gotcha. So do straight edge kids do anything to show that they're straight edge? Like when I was a kid, and this sort of served two purposes. Straight edge, you would get like a big fat black marker and put an X on your hands. That let everybody know that you were straight edge, but it also let the bouncers and the bartenders know that you were not of age. Yeah. Which, whether you were or not, I mean, they wouldn't serve you if you had a giant X on your hand. Did straight edge kids do anything to differentiate themselves from everybody else?
I wouldn't say so. I think that a lot of the kids I was hanging out with kind of acted like everybody else, just minus the smoking, minus the drinking. And that's really was the only difference.
Gotcha. And so you found yourself a community there of like-minded individuals to keep you out of some troubles?
Absolutely.
Nice. Now, Wesley, you're currently smoking weed, so I guess that no, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding everybody who's not. Were you in the straight edge kids or were you one of the other people?
I was one of the other people. But I always respected people who were straight edge or who are straight edge, and I always knew that Parker was, and he's like a big brother to me, so like I always respected that aspect of it whenever we were hanging out and stuff.
This is going to sound super weird, but I promise it'll make sense in a minute. How come you guys didn't fight and beat each other up all the time? Because you have different beliefs. The reason I'm asking is because we're in 2021 now, and it seems like, I don't know if it's just what I'm seeing online or if it's actually as pervasive as I think it is. But the way it seems now in 2021 is if I meet somebody on the street and we disagree about anything, then we automatically hate each other forever. So since that was such a big part, especially a big part of Parker's life, there was never an issue, right? You guys didn't hate each other just because you had different beliefs?
No.
Huh. Connecticut must be so nice. Just kidding. I heard it's cold as balls. Man, forget that place. So we have a mutual acquaintance. She's probably a friend of yours, but she's just a super cool acquaintance of mine. She was on my show early in my show. She was actually suggested to me by a listener and another mutual friend, but her name is Angela Modifica, and she is a luthier. And just for the record, her episode of Fascination Street podcast is in the top 5 of the most downloaded and listened to episodes of the history of my show. She is dope. So how do y'all know her?
You go first, Wes.
Yeah, Wes.
So I got this. Listen, I met Angie through Parker because there was a local guitar shop in Wallingford, which is about 15 minutes away from Durham.
Mike's or something?
Or no, it was Joe's. Joe's, that's right.
See, what a dumbass. My apologies.
Yeah, so it's called Joe's Guitars, and it's like 15 minutes away from where Parker and I live in Durham. So I'm a left-handed guitar player, so I have a hard time finding guitars that I actually like because they just don't make cool guitars left-handed.
Because you have to play them upside down or whatever. You have to play a real one upside down. A real one. You like that?
Yeah. See, this is the kind of slander I get as a left-handed guitar player.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just going to interrupt you real quick. There's a friend of mine. He was on this show. His name is Clint Howard. Anyway, he, in the 80s, was in a punk band called the Kempsters. And one of his songs, which he let me play on my show, is called Left-Handed Boy. The whole theme of the song is he's a left-handed boy in a right-handed world. It's a really cool song, so you might want to go check that out. And I apologize for interrupting you. Please continue with your weird-ass guitar left-handed wrong things. You play goofy-footed.
I know.
Goofy-handed?
Goofy-handed. Goofy in general. Yeah.
There you go.
So, whenever I would get ideas of like pickups or take this guitar neck and I'd want to put it on this left-handed guitar body, I was like, well, I'd have no idea how to do any of this. So Parker was like, hey, I know, this person who does luthier work. I think I brought like an old Telecaster that I had to Angie and like, she just knocked it out of the park. The guitar sounded amazing. She was just super cool, super inviting, super understanding of like, how crazy a left-handed guitar could be, like putting a right-handed neck on it and shit like that. So that was kind of like my introduction to Angie, and that kind of started the friendship that we have now. And, I've been giving her guitars like 3 times a month for the last couple of years. So,
wow. Does she ever give them back?
Sometimes.
Rock on. Parker, how do you know her? Because it was a pretty smooth move how Wes was like, you know what? I got this. I'll go first. I met her through Parker.
So I went to Joe's Guitars kind of out of necessity because I had this really nice Warwick bass that's like all wood, all oil, gets very special to me. Brought it to Guitar Center. They messed up the setup on it, so I had to bring it to a new store.
Guitar Center?
Yeah, very bad choice. So then I ended up going to Joe's, and I talked with Angie because she was the one who was actually going to fix my bass for me. And then when I went to go pick it up, I met her husband, Mike, and Mike was like, oh, your bass is so cool. And then that time when I picked it up, I literally spent probably 3 hours talking with Mike and Angie just about random guitar stuff. And then every time I went in there after that, it always turned into like a 3-hour conversation about anything in the world. Angie and Mike are such like awesome people.
Are they married?
They are.
Okay.
They're so open and they're so friendly, and like talking with them is so unbelievably easy that I got Angie's number and I was doing the same thing that Wes was. And like, I was sending her schematics of cool different bass ideas, pickup ideas, configurations. That's how our friendship started. And I would go there back when the store was open for 3 hours at a time at least and just BS with them.
Wow. So you're the reason she couldn't get anything done. All right, cool.
Totally.
Just kidding. So back to how you said that, she's so open and cool to talk to. I can't speak to Mike, but you did. I think that's one of the reasons that her episode of my show is so successful, is because she is so open. She is so warm and inviting, and she's knowledgeable about just about everything. Like you said, I mean, she knows so much and she's willing to talk about everything. So I really, really enjoyed that episode. I chat with her all the time. She's so cool. I want to say it was definitely more than 2 years ago, and we still are on, we still chat back and forth. So I think that also speaks to her personality and
how she values friends, I feel like.
Exactamente.
The way that she values people is so important to her.
I agree. But we're not here to talk about her. Well, we kind of are. She's the reason that you guys are on. Obviously, I'm way over here in Texas, so I'm not super familiar with all of the bands coming out of Connecticut right now. So she put you guys on my radar, and like I said, I listened to your guys' stuff, and I was like, let's do this. Now, what are the other people's names in this Sunday morning band?
So our drummer's name is Eric Stanzel, and our other guitarist is Dominic Barone.
Who does the singing?
I do.
You do. How's your throat?
Since we haven't played a show in like over a year, I don't think it's as good as it was, pre-COVID. I really have had no need to kind of use it in the sense that I have before.
Well, you better start singing in the shower or something.
I know. I got to get going. I got to figure it out. But, when we were playing like, 4 or 5 shows a month, it was kind of consistent and, I knew what I was going to get every single night. But, we haven't been in the studio. We've done demos recently and it held up well, but, it's just been getting a lot of rest.
What do you think about that, Parker? This dude just relaxing, not working his instrument. What's up?
Well, we're definitely doing stuff. I mean, luckily, because of the way that we are as a band and everything, we're all very close to each other. So we haven't really stopped practicing.
Do you mean physically close to each other?
Yeah. Wes lives in the same town. Eric lives one town over from us. Dom lives the farthest away, but he's willing to travel. So we haven't stopped practicing. And on the flip side, Wes also has been going above and beyond, recording demos on his computer, sending out just a lyric and like a melody and a guitar track with it for us to practice so that we have a little bit more that we can do on our own. So that when we do get together, it's not all fresh, brand new. There's some idea there. There's some thought process already been put into it.
Nice. How did you guys come up with the name Sunday Morning?
Parker, you could take this one.
Oh, that's funny. I was going to nominate Parker to take this one.
I always say it wrong, so I'm going to say it the way I normally do it, and then Wes will fix it for me.
Sweet.
So we were trying to come up with a name, and we couldn't really figure anything out. And originally, we were going to name the band Sexual Relations and Anal Explanations, but we figured that the local clubs might not be a big fan of that. So
some of the clubs would be. A very niche group of those clubs would be.
Our drummer was like, well, the only day we can practice is Sunday morning right now. Let's just call ourselves Sunday Morning and we'll change it later. Then we never changed it.
That's fantastic. So with the incarnation, had it been with that other super long and very interesting name, I'm guessing that all of you on stage would have just been wearing chaps and nothing else, right?
I hope so.
You are 100% correct, yeah.
All right, Wes, tell me how you guys really came up with the name Sunday Morning.
I think Parker did an excellent job explaining that. Eric did come up with that. He was just like, hey, at the time, the only day we were able to practice was Sunday morning. So, he was just like, why don't we just do that? And it just stuck. Like, I remember him saying that, we could change it down the road or we could change it eventually. Cause I think we had like our first show was like a week after that or something. We were like, shit, we gotta call ourselves something.
Yeah. We literally had this show on that Friday, and it was going to be a show where we knew that the MC there was going to be like, hey, what's your band's name? So like, we knew we had to prepare something, but it literally was like a rap battle where we got there and we said something. We were like, crap, I wish that we didn't do that, but we stuck with it.
That's hilarious. It is a good thing that Eric didn't say, well, the only place we can practice is in grandma's attic.
Could have been worse.
Yeah. A lot worse.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
You know those popping phone handle things that you see on everyone's phones nowadays? Well, how would you like to put your logo on them? Does your podcast or band need new merch? Do you want to bring attention to your new book or film? Maybe you need something unique for your Patreon or crowdfunding campaign. Then visit thelogopop.com, where you can customize them with the logo of your podcast, band, business, art, school mascot, or whatever else you can think of. These are way more affordable than you may think at thelogopop.com. Mention where you heard this ad and get free shipping on your entire order. Remember, that's thelogopop.com to order your custom popping phone handles. That's thelogopop.com.
Let's get back into it.
I see that you guys on the YouTubes, you guys have videos. And please take this with all due respect, Wes, with the exception of the acoustic ones, which are filmed, I guess, with just you in your house. The other videos, they seem like they have some pretty big production value. I mean, I don't remember the name of it, but the one that's like about Frankenstein and stuff, that looks like a movie. Like, how are you guys able to put together enough scratch to make these high production value videos? And again, Wesley, I don't mean any disrespect. It's just that the acoustic stuff is kind of just you and a camera. So there's not a whole lot of production value, but the sound quality is great. But I'm really interested in how you guys put together enough scratch to make movies.
Yeah, so the Frankenstein one.
What's it called?
That's the music video for Burn It Down.
Okay.
So when we wrote that song, I wrote it specifically about, the story of Frankenstein. I'm a huge Universal Monster fan. Growing up, I used to watch those, movies religiously. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to write a song about it. And then we kind of came up with, I think we were all sitting down in Parker's basement one night and we were all talking about, music video ideas. And that one kind of just came up, like if we made it like the old 1930s black and white, movies. And that was fun because we have a friend who does video production and stuff like that. And we kind of just like pitched him the idea and he was like, sure, I'll try it, because we really had no idea what we were doing. We were just dressing up and having fun. It came out pretty well, but we usually, we split everything like between the four of us in terms of, when we're pricing out what we want to do, whether it's recording or making music videos. We try to sell as much merchandise as we can to kind of help fund things like that. After we deduct that from the payment, we just split it four ways. Sometimes it's tough, because, the higher the production value, technically the more you're going to pay. So, sometimes it's tough. Sometimes we got to take a lot out of pocket, but we try to sell merch and get a good amount of streams. And even though you make no money off of streams now, but whatever we get, we put towards that,
So you mentioned merch. So you guys, do you have a merch site or do you sell merch at shows? How do you sell your merch?
Yeah. So the biggest way that we sold merch pre-COVID was at shows. We typically did well, at our merch table, every show we played.
Right.
But now everything's, if you go to, I believe it's www.sundaymorningct.com.
Sunday Morning CT as in Connecticut?
Yeah, as in Connecticut. Yeah. There's a direct link that'll bring you to our merch page.
What's on the merch page? Don't tell me, Wesley. I want Parker to tell me.
There's a lot of stuff on the merch page.
Oh, cool. Thanks for chiming in. All right. Now back to, no, I'm just kidding. What do you got? You got t-shirts, buttons, hats.
We got t-shirts, long sleeves. We got crew necks, koozies, stickers, CDs.
Is this all stuff that you guys have somewhere and y'all physically put them in an envelope and mail them out yourselves?
Yes. And not only that, most of our merch we actually make ourselves. Back in the day, we were ordering off of like websites and stuff, but a lot of our merch nowadays, we'll actually buy like the images and everything, and we'll screen print them ourselves.
What do you mean buy the images? What does that mean?
We have one image. Of course, I don't have a bag with me, but we have an image that was on our lathe cut of the EP that we just released, and it was only 2 songs from the EP. But it was this image of a devil kind of trying to like grab onto a woman. And it was this great image that we commissioned. And then I actually took it and I have a heat press machine. So I was heat pressing a couple string bags with that image on it. And when it came to a lot of the shirts in the past, a lot of them we did ourselves. I think all the ones except for the EP t-shirt are all printed by us right now, including the koozies.
Gotcha. So back to Burn It Down. Who writes the lyrics?
Wes. No, I usually write them.
Why? I mean, again, this is going to sound super disrespectful, but I ask this of every guest I have because I'm genuinely curious because I didn't grow up with a whole lot of confidence. What amazes me about the people that I have on my show is that they had the confidence to think that they could do something. So, Wesley, first, what made you think you could write songs, play guitar, for lack of a better term, front a band? What made you think you could do these things?
To be honest, I don't have a very good answer. It kind of just like happens. Like, I don't.
This is the guy who writes the lyrics, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, yeah. The lyrics really come from internal feelings or emotions that I feel. And the only way that I can express them is through writing them down or putting them into song.
Have you always been like that? Like, were you writing poems and just writing in, I don't want to say diary, but in your diary as a kid?
I really didn't start writing lyrics until I was in like 8th grade, I want to say. I played drums, from a very young age until around then. And I picked up guitar around 8th grade once I, started writing lyrics.
Because it's hard to put music to words if you just have a drum set?
Yeah. Drums are very self-expressive, but I just needed a different outlet. I picked up guitar and doing that, and, it was fairly new, so it took me a while to kind of hone my craft. But yeah, writing lyrics and just creating things like that kind of just comes from personal feelings or emotions and kind of using it as a way to cope and just get things out, get shit off my chest. And other than that, like, you have the rare example of a song like Burn It Down where it's specifically based off something. I think that was the first time I sat down and was like, I'm going to write a song about this. Usually it's just, this is what's going on in my brain. Sometimes I'll be driving and I'll think of a line, like it'll just pop into my head, and, I'll take out my phone and put it in my notes. And then when I feel like I'm writing a song, I'll just take from those, one-liners and kind of just base everything off that.
Parker, what made you think you could play bass and be in a band? Melt faces.
I really got into like playing bass because my grandfather kind of was like forcing me to do something in 8th grade. He was kind of just like throwing money at me and trying to find what I would really stick with.
You poor kid.
Yeah, I know. And I was really lucky and fortunate because of that. But like, I ended up getting into bass, and I was in and out of bands until Sunday morning.
Like this past Sunday morning?
And the original band was actually fronted by Wes's brother, Paul, funny enough. Paul and I actually kind of made an agreement a long, long time ago that when Wes was on the drums, Paul recognized there was something about Wes that, like, he was just so musically inclined. It was ridiculous. And I agreed with him because, like, I could see when he was in 8th grade and he first started learning guitar, he was playing a right-handed guitar upside down with the strings not restrung correctly.
Oh, really?
So he's playing it literally upside down. And like, he comes out as an 8th grader and he's like, Parker, check this out. And starts playing Wake Me Up When September Ends. And he like just picked up guitar like 4 days ago. And Paul and I kind of just were like, we're going to do this and we're going to see how far it goes for him, because Wes was like a sophomore in high school when I think we created the original band. And Paul ended up dropping out, but I was always into being in a band and things like that. And Wes ended up going from drums to guitar. And I will say to this day, he's a much better drummer than he is a guitarist any day of the week. But there's that little bit of him that requires him to be able to sing. And that removed him from the drum set entirely and allowed him to start creating melodies. And although he does create most of the lyrics, he is extremely open to anybody else having input on lyrics, melody changes, and almost every song does change by the time we actually demo it, because Wes will come with one small product and then we'll throw all of our colors on top of his canvas, and then he throws his final color on top, and that's how we like create the song.
So who plays drums? Is it Eric?
Yeah.
All right. Now here's a question that'll get you both beat up. Who's a better drummer?
Eric, 100%.
Yeah.
I haven't sat down and like played drums in probably 6 or 7 years. There's shit that Eric does in our songs where I'll like, we'll be practicing and Eric will do this crazy fill, and I'll look at Parker and I'll just be like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he always surprises us, man. Like, he's just so good.
So when I asked that question, both of you waited like about a second because I think you were trying to let the other person answer. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that pause really, really, really long so that when Eric hears it, he goes, oh, what the fuck, guys?
That'll be great.
So I am supposed to ask you, and I guess it's a great question. I think your newest actual video is called "She Took Ecstasy in Paris and She's Never Been the Same." I'm going to assume you wrote that, Wes?
Yeah, I wrote the song, but the song title was a collaborative effort by all of us.
What's that song about?
So, I mean, it has nothing to do with the title. I mean, if you really sit down and listen to the lyrics.
Oh, wait, like Leonard Skinner? Their titles don't have anything to do with anything else?
Exactly. Or like any 2000s emo band, like just ridiculously long titles and no relation to the song.
Genius.
But, yeah, we try to be original.
That's your newest video, and I think you put it on YouTube about 2 months ago. Other than YouTube, where can people go to find your videos?
I mean, I guess Instagram.
You put your videos on there too?
Yeah, not ever since they added the
Reels or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, the Reels or the movie, Instagram movie or whatever it is. You know, ever since they added that.
Got you. I listened to all of the songs that you have on YouTube. I have a favorite song. I was wondering if I might be able to play it on this here program. Would I, could I, should I, would, will, do. Hey guys, can I have your permission to play Burn It Down on this here program?
Absolutely.
100%.
And since Wesley won't stop talking, Parker, will you introduce this song like you're a radio DJ?
Okay, everybody, who's ready to hear this hot slamming new track by Sunday Morning? This one is called Burn It Down.
All right, that was absolutely horrific. Wes, you're laughing at Parker. It's your turn, Wes. Hit it.
I don't know if I can top that, man. I thought that was great.
Come on, Wes. Do it. It's a competition, man.
I'm trying to think how to do it. Should I say you're listening to Burn It Down now?
Now, you heard Parker do his, and you're like, You're
listening to Fascination Street podcast. This is Burn It Down by Sunday Morning.
Cool. I'm going to use both of those, you weirdos.
The worst thing I've ever done in my life, I think.
Wow. That's thanks. Thanks for bringing your A game to the show, man.
Doesn't take much of anything. A couple moments and I'm fine alone with you. Bits and pieces from everything. Resurrect my past and open the unknown. Never wanted to be this way. Was happy resting in a place where
So I love that song. It's really catchy. And I think that might be the one that reminds me the most of Sum 41, which, like I said, huge fan back in the day.
I appreciate that compliment, I just want to say, because usually most people go to Blink-182 or Green Day. Hearing Sum 41 just makes me very happy because, like, I love Sum 41 as well. So, like, hearing that, like, we sound like that is awesome.
Now, I do hear those other two bands that you mentioned, but I feel like everybody who remotely classifies themselves as pop punk has those hints, but almost nobody has the Sum 41 aspect of it. And to me, that's what stands out. And so that's why I said it. That's why I dig that song. That song is dope as balls. You guys have a song called Elon Musk. I'm going to guess, once again, due to the genius lyricist over there, it's got nothing to do with Elon.
So Wes brought the main riff of that song to us and started playing it. And he's like, I don't know where this is going, but I want to create a song from it. And I go, you remember that podcast with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk? And he hits the blunt and he makes that face that like, I'm like, that's how I feel about that riff. So I want to call this song Elon Musk. And then we have to make a video for it so that when people search Elon Musk, hopefully it shows up. And then I was the one who actually went online, found all the free copyright stuff and made the music video for that myself with all free copyright stuff and my own personal footage I took.
Wildly disappointing that it's not geared toward, aimed at Mr. Musk. And also, why didn't you just call it Elon Musk's Blunt?
That would have been great.
All right, I'm going to change it. I just changed it. You're welcome.
Yeah, we'll find out how to change it.
What do you guys want to be when you grow up? Where do you want to take Sunday morning? You don't want to take it all the way to Monday, do you? So stupid. I told you I'm a dad. Dad jokes are my biggest crutch, man. Sorry.
These are good. These are good Sunday morning jokes. When we hear Sunday morning jokes, it's like we're playing a show on a Friday night and they're like, oh, Sunday morning, but it's Friday night. And I'm like, oh, I've never heard that before. You know what I mean? So I appreciate your creativity with it.
Hey, your next album should be called You Should Be in Church Right Now.
We'll write that down.
So where do you guys want to take this band? How far do you want to do it?
I mean, personally speaking,
no, I prefer you speak for someone else.
I would love to live the like a day to remember dream that they have where like all the band members live in one large ranch and like they own a couple acres of land and like all the families live together in like a massive house.
That's called a compound.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be my dream, and just be able to like do this full time, like music stuff, videos, helping other bands, going out on the road, doing all that. Like that's what I would love. I don't want to be a billionaire. I just want to be able to live without stress of financials. Gotcha.
Now, Wesley Parker wants to start a cult. What do you want to do, Wesley? Where do you want to take this band?
I'll start the cult with him, man. Obviously we don't do this for the money. You know what I mean? Because there really isn't a lot of money in it. Unless you're, like a pop star, shit like that, or you just, become successful overnight or something. But like Parker said, to be able to live and play music is like, that's the dream. For my main focus to be music, that would just be incredible.
So basically, both of you, your goal is to be able to pay the bills with your music?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Erica.
And I'm Cassandra.
And we're the hosts of Trashy Trashy.
We're a podcast filled with trashy news stories and garbage people.
Did you leave the scene of an accident to go tanning?
Do you refer to wearing the strap down on your Crocs as sports mode?
Have you ordered Domino's online before they even open in the morning?
Are you switching the same AAA batteries from your TV remote to your vibrator instead of just buying more batteries?
Or are you normal?
Check us out wherever you download podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
If this doesn't work out, God forbid, what do each of you want to be when you grow up? Parker?
Unfortunately, I'm living that fantastic dream already.
Oh no, you poor bastard.
I am a residential treatment assistant at a addiction facility for boys between the ages of 14 and 20. In my previous job, I was a case manager for the same exact population. That's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something where I was helping people and trying to interject in people's life at that time where hopefully having somebody will allow you to be able to push forward without falling into any pits and then that hurting you more down the road.
Before you answer, Wes, if I was wearing a hat, I would take it off to you, Parker. That is noble. And thank you for the work that you're doing. My mom, my wife's sister, and mother are all psychiatric nurses with a specialty toward behavior and addiction medicine. So they all worked residential treatment facilities. My wife actually was building them for a while across the country.
Wow.
So I know how important that work is. Oh, also, I'm friends with Dr. Drew, addiction medicine specialist, Dr. Drew. Yeah. So I know how difficult and how needed those services are. So thank you for what you're doing. That's very, very cool. Very cool. Hey, Wes, top that. Well, what do you want to be when you grow up if this doesn't work out?
I'm currently in my last semester at school to become a therapeutic recreational specialist. So that's just like improving functioning of people with disabilities, whether it's social, emotional, cognitive, or physical. And I actually have an internship coming up this summer in a children's psychiatric facility, an inpatient facility. So along the lines, very similar to what Parker does, but if it doesn't work out, that's the path I'm headed.
I'm sure you're aware, but residential treatment facilities for both behavior and addiction, they also have play therapy and music therapy. Maybe you guys could just, on your compound, when you start your cult, y'all can just open your own, like, small, maybe 28-bed residential treatment facility, and y'all can both do your things.
Yeah, right?
Another source of income.
You guys are low-co. Parker, of the songs that you have released, what's your favorite?
Treehouse might be my favorite song right now. And a lot of that leans just on the fact that I think that it was one of the first songs that I really started to do a lot of bass work in. And it was more of a lead role than a rhythm role while being on bass, which I really enjoyed. And that song just has a fantastic vibe to it. I think it's like a true Sunday morning song. There's clarity and there's moments where you know what's going on, but at the same time, there's the chaos of the breakdown that really changes the whole song for that moment and then goes back to the clarity afterwards.
Got you. Now, I could be wrong, but the only version of that song I'm seeing is an acoustic one.
That's on YouTube, you mean?
Yeah. Is there some place where people can go to hear the full non-acoustic version?
Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, YouTube Music.
So literally everywhere?
Yeah, any of the other. It's off of our EP, Nothing Matters.
Your first EP?
No, it's our, technically, I think, fifth.
Oh, okay. And then your sixth one is called You Should Be in Church Right Now?
That's the work and tell, yeah.
That's on the down low right now.
Nice. Wes, what's your favorite song of the songs that you guys have released?
Treehouse too, but I'll say Run for Cover.
Why would you change it? Just because he said Treehouse? It's okay to have the same favorite. A lot of your fans and your audience are going to have the same favorite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the reason that Parker stated about just like his bass line, and really just carries the song for Treehouse.
That's not what he said. Don't make him sound like a douche. He didn't say, "Oh, my bass line carries this song." He didn't say it like that.
But it does. No, it really does. You know what I mean? And like, he deserves that credit because it's just such a prominent bass line. And like, it really does just, accentuate the song. And from the slower beginning, that's kind of like a common theme that we've had for a while is like, kind of those vibey, slower introductions to the song and then just picking it up and picking it up. I really like the melody for that song too that I came up with. And I think there's some really, really cool, like individual moments throughout the song.
Nice. Now, Parker, I don't know if you've had a chance, but if you have some free time, previous guests of my show include the founding bass player of Blue Oyster Cult, the founding bass player of Tantric and Days of the New, and now Blitzkrieg. You should check those out because they're really good interviews. All of my December interviews of last year were founding members of multi-platinum selling bands. I had the founding member and guitar player for the Commodores. That was super dope. I had Herb Alpert of Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. It's before your time, but basically all musicians of every genre point to that man as an inspiration. So check that out for sure. And then, of course, I had, like I said, the founding bass player of Blue Oyster Cult. And then also I had BJ Thomas, who is huge. He has 13 number one songs or something like that. You would know his songs. I don't always interview musicians, but when I do, I drink Dos Equis. No, I don't always interview musicians, but when I do, I really enjoy getting to find out what makes them tick and what made them think they could, obviously. So again, if you're bored, just go check out some of the musicians. And by the time your episode comes out and you guys are going to let me play that song, the amount of songs that people have let me play on my show is going to be like in the 90s. Like there's going to be like 90 songs that have been played on my show by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, this isn't necessarily a music show, but there's a lot of music on the show and a lot of musicians on the show. And so I thank you both for agreeing to do this. And again, for letting me play that song. And since I'm a greedy prick, how about this? Can I play Treehouse? Since both of you love it so much.
Do it, yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, rock on. And since y'all are both terrible, I'm going to go ahead and introduce it.
That sounds good to me.
Hey guys, I got Parker and Wes here from Sunday Morning, that dope ass band out of Connecticut, and they're going to let me play their song Treehouse from the new EP Nothing Matters.
I've been home now.
I was going to ask you if I could play Elon Musk. That way I could say I had Elon Musk on my show. But I think that's not how I want to get his attention. So I don't want him to be like,
what the hell is this
liar? So tell everybody where they can find you on all of the social medias. Go Wes.
Our handle on all social media, so that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, is at Sunday Morning CT.
What about TikTok?
We are not on TikTok.
Okay, look, I know you're fucking with Reels and Instagram movies or whatever the shit. I hate to say this because I'm old, but TikTok is where it's at, dude.
I feel like the same way. I feel like I've just been like internally just like, fuck TikTok.
Me too. I mean, what?
And I feel like I haven't been very open about it internally.
No, that's a nice open-minded individual. I love today's youth. Just kidding. So I think that, again, none of my damn business because you guys are all grown-ass adults that are managing your career just fine. I think that you should get on that bandwagon. It's only going to get bigger, and it's worldwide, and the craziest shit catches on and takes notice. I had a young lady on a couple of weeks ago named Jax Hollow, and she started her TikTok account maybe a month before she released her album. And by itself, that ended up driving close to 100,000 streams of her album when it did come out. And it drove people to her other platforms. It increased her Instagram presence. It increased her Twitter presence. It increased her on Facebook. It drove a bunch of people to her website. So I highly recommend you do it. It's not just for assholes dancing and eating Tide Pods. It's also a really cool place to find some dope ass music. One of the things that TikTok lets you do is, like, if you put up a video or a song, I, who don't know you, can grab that audio and put it underneath my video.
That's right, yeah.
But it does give you credit. It doesn't say, Steve Owens audio. It says that this is Sunday Morning's audio. So that is also a way that your music can get out without even kind of you knowing about it, if that makes any sense. So in a world where content creators just want to have their content heard or seen, I think TikTok is really, really something that you guys need to jump on.
Yeah. Like I said, like I've always been just like, fuck TikTok, but
I was too. But then COVID hit and I was home by myself. I'm not by myself, but I was home with nothing to do because I couldn't work. And I was like, I guess I'll see what TikTok's all about and I'll make some shits. But I'm arguably the least creative person on the planet, so I really struggle with what to do on TikTok. But you guys have videos and music and really weird opinions about life. So I think, no, I'm just kidding. So I think that you guys should really, really look into doing that. Don't quit your day job to do it, but definitely I think make some room for it in your schedules. That was lectury, don't you think? What am I, your parents?
Informative.
What a prick. You told us where everybody can find you on the social medias. Just kidding. You thought I froze.
I did. I hope.
So as we're heading out, is there anything that I didn't ask you guys or we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about today? Wes? Kidding. Parker? Just kidding. Wes? I don't care. Somebody talk.
Parker, go ahead.
So we just came out with 2 new acoustic videos. We did that while we were actually recording demos, and we're gearing up for new music in some kind of way. We're not sure 100% what it's going to look like yet and exactly what it's going to be, if it's going to be some re-releases of some stuff or if it's going to be completely new content. But we're trying our hardest during COVID to put out as much as possible on social media so that even though there's not shows, our content doesn't dry up and doesn't stop just because shows aren't a thing.
And the 2 acoustic songs that you just mentioned that you guys recently put up is She Took Ecstasy in Paris and She's Never Been the Same, and the acoustic version of Treehouse, right?
Yes.
Cool. Do you guys do any cover songs?
Actually, there is one on YouTube, but I don't believe it's under our page. I believe it's under another page called the Tito Sessions.
That's on there. It's on your YouTube channel, Sunday Morning. It actually says the Tito Sessions Sunday Morning, outgrow, low gain.
There was another one where Wes did a cover of Drowned by Microwave. And I believe it's on that channel. And now that you say that, it makes me want to go check out our channel and make sure that it's on there.
It's not. It's not. You have the Tito sessions. You got Ailment and Outgrow, and that's it from the Tito sessions.
So I definitely got to upload that then.
It's somewhere on the interweb.
Yeah. Fix your shit, bro.
We got it.
Wes, is there anything we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about?
No, we went over the social media, but, we have a website, www.sundaymorningsct.com. And that has links to all of our videos that aren't necessarily on our page, but are just of us. Links to our socials and a direct link to our merch page. And there's contact information and stuff in there too. So if you want to take a deeper dive into, all the shit that we do, I think that's a good place to go.
And once again, that is sundaymorningsct.com.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to save you 10 years of your life right now. Are you ready? Both of you. Are you paying attention? This is going to give you back 10 years of your life in wasted time. Okay. We're in 2021. It is not necessary to say www. Right?
There's no other way. You're right.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
It's not necessary. You had to say that in 1997, but in 2021, you can just say sundaymorningsct.com. And so I just gave you back 10 years each.
If you added up all the times I've said that, it probably equates to 10 years. You're right.
And think about all the times you're not going to have to say it anymore.
Look at that. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. All right. Speaking of thank yous, Wes Parker from Sunday Morning, that dope, fresh as balls band out of Connecticut. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time out of your busy day and your COVID schedules to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you letting us do this because this is a lot of fun. And like I said, we want to do content. We want to reach out to the fans. We want to reach out to people while we can in any way while it's not possible to do it in physical person. So
correct.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. All right, guys. Hey, y'all have a great weekend, and I really, really appreciate your time. So thank you guys so much, and y'all go fucking melt faces for the weekend. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Streetwalkers, it's time for a giveaway. Thanks to our generous friends at Sylvania, we're going to give away some Bluetooth speakers. What do you think? These are fairly special and limited Fascination Street podcast edition, as they have a little Fascination Street emblem on the end. This oblong Bluetooth speaker is about 8 inches tall and about 3 inches in diameter, and is IPX4 waterproof. So how do you win? Well, what I need all of you to do is post a short video to your Instagram story, your Facebook story, or even your TikTok, telling everybody why you love Fascination Street Podcast and which is your favorite episode. Make sure to tag the show in these videos, and each week I'll pick one winner to win one of these special limited edition Sylvania Bluetooth speakers, and I'll mail it to you. And I might even throw a couple of other Fascination Street pod swag in there as well. So tell a friend, tell all your friends, and include it in your stories on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And don't forget to tag the show, Fascination Street Podcast. Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2014 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is Apollo from the 2001 album Into the Known by the band Sapphire. Thanks for hanging out with us and getting to know a little bit about our guest. We'll see you next time on Fascination Street.